Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stat Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Jason Ford. And we do have a special guest with us, Miss Ashley Yearwood. And we are awaiting the arrival of Miss Julia Hawley. Ashley and Julia are let me do it the other way. Julia and Ashley are the chef and assistant chef de missions for the Junior Pan Am Games, which will take place in Cali, Colombia, at the end of November, which is November 25th through to December 5th. While we await the arrival of Julia, Ashley, first of all, are you excited? Coming from an athlete background to now administrator, are you excited?
I'm really excited. It's definitely different being on this side of the equation. You don't realize what goes into organizing these events when you're an athlete for it. And so I definitely have a new appreciation for everything that I was given when I was an athlete, for sure.
Yeah. What has been an eye opener for you?
I just honestly everything. I can't pinpoint one specific thing. It's from travel to uniforms to making sure that everyone is aware of what is going on. And when it's not just swimming, because I was a swimmer, so it's not just swimming, it's all of the sports now. So it's not even just me having to deal with me or my teammates. It's dealing with an entire team, and it's really exciting, and it's really good to get to know other people in the sporting world.
Definitely. Yeah. Before I let Jason ask a question, let me just quickly run down the Bermuda team thus far. In archery, we'll be represented by Jaden Roberts. In cycling for the road racing, it's Caden Hopkins, Connor White, and Nicholas Narroway. For the mountain biking, it's Robin Horsfield. For sailing, it's Ben Smith and Adrienne Panroddock. In swimming, it's Finn Mosley and Maisha Sharif. Tennis is Daniel Phillips. And triathlon is Nicholas Pilgrim. That's the makeup of the Bermuda team thus far. Jay, any questions for Ashley?
Well, yeah, most definitely. Actually, you talk about being overwhelmed by the situation, but coming from an athlete background, first things first, why? Why?
I quit swimming many years ago now. I'm not sure how many it was, but I was looking for a way to get back into the sporting community and a way to give back. I was given so much as an athlete, and I learned so much, and I want to be a part of the organization that gives children and kids and athletes like a fraction of what I got, if not even more. Mm-hmm. So it's the same, it is the opportunity kind of fell into my lap, and this seems like a great way to get involved.
But the great thing is, with your background, you obviously have some things in mind from an athlete standpoint, what might be needed or what somebody, questions that might need to be asked. I mean, you would know it firsthand now.
Yes, specifically for my sport, because I had never really had the opportunity to work with other sports. There's so much that you learn that, I would have never guessed that sailing would need to rent a boat when they were out there. Those are things that I would have never even thought of. So it's, definitely for swimming and sports that I've been around, they definitely have a perspective for that. But for other sports, this is just as eye-opening for me as it is for the new time athletes.
No pun intended, a fish out of water.
Yes.
Well, welcome, Julia, the chef for the Bermuda team for the Junior Pan Am. Julia, as an administrator and the lead administrator for this team in an inaugural event, how excited are you about this opportunity?
Oh, yeah. No. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, yeah. Really sorry about that. We're very excited. This is an inaugural event. It's an event that's in our region. So it's Pan Am, the Pan Am region of countries. And it's an opportunity for our very young people to have an opportunity to compete against other athletes in the region. So this is what we would call a developmental opportunity for all of our athletes. So yeah, and it's the first time they're holding this event, so we're very excited. Obviously, with COVID as well, this was a postponed event. I mean, it's amazing that the event is on and that we have all the athletes going and all the countries, and we're very excited.
Having someone like Ashley, who was not long ago an athlete herself.
It was a long time ago.
Okay.
Not that long.
She's still wet from the pool. Let's put it like she hasn't dried off yet. But having someone like Ashley, who was an athlete just not so long ago, helping you out, do you think it's a good thing that she has that experience of being an athlete at a major festival and the upper or international festivals and now helping you on the administration side?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we want to be able to have young shut-ins going to the younger teams. And obviously, experience from being an athlete, but you also need experience just from the administration side as well. And I think for us,
okay,
as well in Cali and at these with different locations in the different sports that we've on, we need at least 2 people that are overall responsible for making sure that all of the things that can go wrong and probably will go wrong are going to be dealt with by us and not by athletes, and that they can just focus on their competitions.
Sure. Now, the games will be held in Cali, Colombia, which is quite a large place. The last time we attended games, they were spread over 3 places in Colombia, which kind of made it very difficult for athletes to kind of support each other. But being a Bermuda team, basically, you do the best you can. Ashley, for you, also being the COVID person, how big is the task for you of ensuring that the athletes who may be somewhere else do the testing and you're able to get it and do what needs to be done with it?
Yeah, the Games has done a really good job organizing all of that as well, and being very open and honest about the fact that COVID is still a thing. And so they've got a lot of things in place that are very, very helpful. One of the things that they're doing is an app. So I'm going to have constant contact with the people, even if I'm not able to actually be in the area with them, the people who are a little bit further away from us. Just making sure that we're in constant contact and that they are aware of who to send the results to. And yeah, I think the games they're requiring testing every 4 days, which is super important. So those results will be administered to the games itself. But yeah, the other days it's up to me, and just making sure that they know who I am and they know that I'm the person that they come in contact with, which
Yeah. Jay?
Have you guys got any information from the chefs who's a part of the Olympics? Because obviously going through a major games, a lot of this major testing, they've been through a lot of these probably headaches already, even though this is a junior Pan Ams, but still a lot of these same structural things have been put in place for the Olympics, and a lot of these games will take after those big events. Any information that you gather from those guys?
don't know if Julia can answer, but because Bronwyn was involved in the organization for the Olympics, and she's been very, really instrumental in organizing all of this for the Bermuda team for Pan Am Juniors. She has a lot of knowledge, and she's been really, really helpful with everything that we need to remember and everything that we need to take care of.
Right.
Yeah.
Julia, can you hear us now?
Yeah, sorry. You know what? I think it was actually my phone, so I've gone to use a different phone, and it seems like it's much better. So apologies.
Okay, no problem at all. What have you learned about the layout for these games in particular as the chef?
Yeah, so they are going to be spread out. So we've got 7 sports, and they're going to be some are going to be in Cali itself, but they'll be in different areas of Cali. Some in like the north area and the south area, and then we've got triathlon and sailing that are quite far out. In fact, they're actually not even going to be staying with the team in Cali. They're going to be staying up at their venue in Lake Kalima, and then cycling, the road events are even, I think it's like maybe an hour to get to 45 minutes to an hour to get to the road events, although the team will be staying in Cali with us. So obviously, and then you're going to have people doing different things on different days. So it is going to be logistically challenging for sure. And that's why it's so great to have an assistant chef this time around, because I think we're going to need it just with all of these different logistics. And we keep saying to all of the team leaders of all the sports, just expect the unexpected. I'm sure the games are going to be fantastic and everyone's going to have a great experience, but there will be challenges along the way. And Ashley and I are 100% prepared for all of this. I mean, Ashley has been she's been an athlete. She's been in places where it can be challenging sometimes. So, and I certainly have been. So, sometimes you just got to go with the flow and, find a solution. There's always a solution to any kind of issue. It will be quite. There'll be venues that the athletes will be in venues all over the place. So yeah, and there is no athlete village either. So that'll be a little bit different. We're all going to be staying in hotels. And I don't know if sorry, I missed a bit of it, but I don't know if Ashley's talked about like the COVID protocols as well.
Yeah,
so the games, will be similar to the Tokyo, not as strict, obviously, Earl, like it was just so strict there.
Yes.
But it's being shadowed on a similar kind of approach.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. They'll take a template and use it and scale it to their events. Ashley, let me quickly ask you before we take our first commercial break. It's unfortunate these type of events weren't around when you were competing. What you say?
Yeah, I mean, I got to go to Junior Worlds a couple of times, and there were smaller meets that I was able to go to, but it would have been awesome to go to something like this. Yeah.
The fact that it's a multi-sport event makes it even, because you now interact with people outside your particular sport, because Junior Worlds would have been just swimming.
Yep.
But now you would have the opportunity to rub shoulders with gymnastics, with tennis, with all these things, and clearly you guys have to build a relationship with the coaches of the junior athletes, because basically they'll be taken care of, but you will actually meet the needs for the athlete and the coach to be able to get to where they need to get to, have the things that are needed and so forth. So how is the communication going thus far with the coaches?
It's going really well. We're having meetings, one-on-one meetings to really get to know them. So they know us and we know them, making sure that we're friendly faces. We're not just administrators. We're there for them. We're there to support them. And so we've been having lots of meetings just to make sure that they know that. And I think that's going to be really, really helpful when we're in Cali. If anything does go awry, that they know that we're there and we're not scary.
Yeah, we've been very good about just having lots. I mean, you don't have too many meetings, but just keeping very good contact and explaining things to everyone, every team. So we think that's very important, and we'll probably have another meeting certainly before we go as well. We've been trying to make sure everyone is has all the information that they need as we get it.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Jay, you're up asking questions. We'll be right back.
John Barrett & Son, Bermuda's leading distributor of fine beverages, have brought us something fresh and exciting this month. Mystic Juices, skillfully blended for captivating flavor and loaded with nutritional value. Mystic Juices not only taste remarkably good, one serving will supply an abundance of vitamins A and C, more than a certified measure needed to meet your daily requirements. This month we're featuring delicious and nutritious Mystic Juices in an enticing range of flavors in 64 and 16-ounce bottles. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. I'm still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
Welcome back. Jake?
Hey guys, you mentioned about there not being a village. So I'm thinking more now, since we're in COVID times, what are some of the limitations that are set upon our athletes while we're down there? Because of, obviously we're testing every 4 days, but not only for them, but for the coaches, for the traveling party, not only while they're there, but also coming back. What are some of the limitations that you are putting in place, the protocols putting in place?
So we've actually
I'll let you go
decided
ahead. Yeah.
we've decided that we're going to test every single day. So the games is testing every 4 days, but we're going to ask that the athletes test just lateral flow test, rapid test every morning before they leave their hotel room and report those results to me. So that's one thing that we're doing just to make sure that we're being super safe. But some of the limitations while we're in Cali is we get to interact with each other in the hotel to a certain extent, but we can't really go to different sporting events to watch our teammates. So that's one of the downers. But I think the ability to interact in the hotel rooms with the overlapping teams, I think that's going to be still a really good thing. The other thing that's happening is you're only allowed to be in Cali for when your competition is. So the team isn't traveling together. You travel down with your team, with your specific sport teammates, compete, and then you have to leave quite soon after. I think it's the same thing that was happening in Tokyo. So those are some of the limitations that we're being faced with. And it does, in a way, take away from the spirit of the games where everyone's at the opening ceremony and everyone's at the closing ceremony. So we're doing our best to make sure that there's still a sense of community within our team members, even though there are all these standards and rules in place.
One of the things that we done, we tested every day in Tokyo with the testing. So it's pretty much straightforward, and if you're planning to do that each day, I think everybody would be comfortable with that, because you want to know if you've come in contact with someone, and then so when we were in Tokyo, there was a plan that if someone tested positive, they had a hotel ready, available for them to move someone to. Have they discussed what happens and how long the period a positive person would have to stay and be in this place?
Yep. So they have a specific hotel that if you end up becoming positive, they have a specific hotel for you to be transferred to. They have transportation for you to get there. It depends on what your symptoms, whether it's 10 or 14 days. Basically, you test and you report back to them. And it depends on when you become negative and when your symptoms, and as to how long the isolation period is. But they do have all of those protocols in place, and we had a big COVID meeting about it a week ago, going through everything, just the precautions that they're putting in place. It's quite extensive and honestly impressive.
Now, one of the things that we have to be mindful that we have junior athletes What is the plan in place if a junior athlete, if one of the athletes tests positive for the BOA, from the BOA standpoint? Does the coach stay? Does one of you two stay? How does that work? Because we have to make sure that we take care of our athletes, our kids, at a very, very difficult time of somebody have to be isolated.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Julia, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we've decided that the coach will be staying with them, especially if they're the ones that are in close contact with them anyway as well. So I think it's safer they'll feel safer. They have someone that really, really knows them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we've, again, this has all been something we've communicated as part of all the team meetings that we've had. I think the critical message really to say, just to the public, I guess, is that, we've done all the mitigating factors. We've taken every approach possible to mitigate the chance of getting COVID. Of course, you can never say you're not going to get it, but, everyone traveling is vaccinated. Every single person on this trip is going to be vaccinated, no matter what the age. So that's defense number one. When we get there, we're testing every day. You're not able to really interact, like go outside of the hotel and go, to restaurants. And so you are limited in your contacts. Obviously you're going to meet your people in your sport and, so there are some risks, but we're keeping those risks as close to zero as possible. And I think we're just all excited that we've even got the opportunity to have this event on, even though there are going to be restrictions that we're not, maybe not everyone's happy with, but at least we're going, right? So that's, I think, the message. But yeah, there's a whole, Ashley's been in all the meetings. There is a very detailed set of guidelines and rules for this. So from a COVID perspective, so yeah, there's if anyone tests positive, there's a separate, hotel and all those kind of things. That's all laid out in a detailed document.
Okay. Jay?
You guys mentioned that the athletes won't be allowed to go watch their fellow athletes in sports. Will there be a local stream that the athletes can see their partners, their friends compete? And also, will there be international stream for us to see from back home?
I can answer that. Yes, there is a app that can be downloaded and you can watch the game coverage live. I'm actually they just actually sent it out, an updated one, and it will probably change again just before the games. But yeah, there will be availability for people to watch the games live as they go on. I'm not sure if they'll be able to pick the particular sport they want to watch, but there will be live coverage of the multiple events going on. So they'll be able to switch in between, whatever's going on the day. We do have, if I'm not mistaken, we have one day where we overlap, and I believe it's triathlon and archery on the 26th.
Our very first day of competition, we have that. Exactly, Earl. Yeah.
Yeah. And, the triathlon is at 11 a.m. Columbia time, which is 1 p.m. Bermuda time.
Right.
And archery will start, I believe, is at 9 o'clock or 8:30. Yeah. But we don't have a schedule as of yet for Jaden Roberts for archery, but we know Nicholas Narroway will be off at 11 a.m. for the triathlon. Yeah. So that's how that starts.
Yeah, exactly. We double up on the very first day.
Jump right into it. No getting
it. And believe it or not, they're opposite ends of
exactly. Exactly. There you go.
So we'll have to decide how we're going to support that and get that coverage. But yeah, it could be worked out. It's just putting your heads together and trying to figure out what's best. So yeah.
So do you guys flip a coin to see who goes to what event that day?
Well, we haven't done that yet. That's Ashley and I do have to sort out.
Rock, paper,
we
scissors,
haven't.
something.
We will need to.
Yeah, we
because,
definitely need to do that.
Yeah, there will be times we're going to have to split up for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, though, flipping the coin.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Ashley's a swimmer. You know, she's got a two-headed coin, right? But Ashley, just to be able to, in your conversation of talking to the athletes, how do you feel with the responses from them, the excitement of them going to such a big event?
Yeah. So I haven't had much contact with a lot of the athletes within the sports. It's mainly been conversations with Bronwyn said no flipping a coin. Well, but
straws.
But I have had a lot of contact with the two swimmers. I coach swimming, and I've been around these guys for quite some time. And so they've been very, very open with asking me questions. They're not afraid to ask me anything.
Right.
And they both seem so excited. Just the opportunity is talking to one of them, and the opportunity that he's so excited. Finn is so excited. So yeah, I know for them they're excited, and I can only assume that the other sports are mirrored in their. Because if you weren't excited, you wouldn't sign up for this. You know, it's going to be difficult, and it's not going to be the norm. And so I think you have to be excited.
Yeah, I actually had a look at Maisha over the weekend, and she looked excited. When she saw me, she just looked at me and started grinning. I said, "Okay, I know what you're thinking right now. Here comes your chance to show me what you're gonna do before you get to Cali, Colombia." But just knowing some of the athletes, seeing their growth, this is an opportunity I think that they've been waiting for to show, and to see where they're at globally, because especially in our region, because these opportunities don't come, but every now this is going to be every 2-year event or every 4-year event?
I think, yeah.
Every 4 years,
Pan Am Senior. I mean, that's the thing, Earl. This is an amazing pathway for juniors who really up to now, it's been limited in terms of what major. I mean, there are more. So we have the Commonwealth Youth Games, you have the Youth Olympic Games. So they're definitely growing, but it's an awesome opportunity for younger kids who see these elite, older athletes going off to these major events as seniors. And sometimes that's a big jump to go and do that kind of thing. Yeah. So at a junior level, this is like perfect for an introduction into some very good competition. I mean, there will be some very, very good athletes at these events. But it's going to be a great opportunity to race people in your region at a junior level, which is usually a lot broader than once you get into a senior level. It's a lot narrower in terms of, everyone is at a certain level because they're older, right? Whereas in this case, these kids, they're younger, and there's a much more of a variation and where they are developmentally on their pathway to, in their athletic field.
Yeah.
I can say from my personal experience, going to Youth Worlds for the first time, it was in Mexico, and I was either 12 or 13 years old, and that was a huge eye-opening experience for me. You really find out that you're a small fish in a big pond when you do this, and it was definitely instrumental for me picking up my game and realizing that there's a level outside of Bermuda, and there's a level of competition in this world that you want to get to.
Mm-hmm. Well, ladies,
I think this junior opportunity just gives them such a great stepping stone where it's not like straight into, the senior level. And it's a much nicer experience perhaps for many people. And I think that's what we want, is we want that developmental process at a younger age in these junior events.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I want to thank you very much for your time. Jay, just to let you know, we will be speaking with some of the athletes week by week as we get closer to the games. So next week, Wednesday, we're hoping to have two athletes join us to talk about what they're anticipating and how they've been preparing for these upcoming games. So, ladies, thanks again.
Fabulous.
Folks, we're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Kamal Levrock, the national cricket coach, national cricket captain. We'll be right back.
The use of butter goes back millennia, and its exalted status in the cooking world and in so many kitchens is undeniable. Around 3,000 years ago, ghee, or clarified butter, was developed in India and is the cooking oil of choice in many regions of the subcontinent, and compared to butter has a higher smoke point, reduced dairy solids, and a more robust, nuanced flavor. And to Organic Valley, creators of a certified organic version of this versatile traditional staple. This month we're featuring Organic Valley Ghee Clarified Butter. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. Still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
And welcome back. As I stated before we took the commercial break, Kamal, I promoted you to the coach, but you're actually the captain of the national team. First of all, welcome. And personally, I want to say thank you, because the opportunity to lead a country is not a small task, and anyone willing to put themselves in a position to lead deserves a lot of respect. Because they take it from not just their personal performance, now they're responsible for kind of team performance. So when you were asked to lead the team, what was the conversation like?
It was a pretty brief conversation, actually. They basically told me before they, like, actually 2 days before they announced it, that they were looking at me to lead the team, and yeah, that was pretty much the end of it.
Oh, okay. No, let me go home and think about it. No, let me.
No, I'd expressed interest before, a couple tours before. So I guess from that expression of interest, they just said, just here's your chance.
Okay. All right, Jay.
Kamal, once again, like Errol, I just want to say thank you for standing up, because it does take, some courage to not only captain, but also captain of Bermuda side internationally. Knowing that, bringing your experience, your wealth of experience from overseas, how do you think you're going to be able to balance, because you're a very integral part of the game itself as a player, but also to motivate the boys also? How do you make that balance?
Being the captain of Bermuda is basically just being, a decent manager. You have to manage who you're speaking to at the moment. Knowing, some of your players, knowing all of your players, how they operate, what they react to. If they're going to react to it, be up to the task, up to certain tasks. Some players might not be up to, certain tasks as other players would. So it's about just knowing your players, and being that, we've all been together for quite a long time and we're all quite friends, it actually makes the job a bit easier than most national captains would have.
And obviously, I mean, you guys knowing each other, understanding each other, your ability to kind of keep things rolling. I know the game is about moments, and as you would attest to, when those rough moments come, someone's got to stand up, and everybody looks towards the captain. How have you kind of talked that over with the coach? Because there could be some times where man management, you would have to step forward.
Yeah, talking to the coach, he's quite big on tactics and unity and stuff like that, and player belief. So I think every player has that belief that in any situation they can step up. Obviously, it'll be a bit more responsibility on my behalf, but I actually feel that all 14 players that are going on this trip can step up at any point and be the man to take the team home if need be.
Any added pressure do you feel the fact that we qualified the last time around in this format?
No, not necessarily. I believe this is actually one of the most talented teams to be picked in recent years. Every player that is involved has had an exceptional season in their discipline. So, Alan Douglas being one example has had an exceptional season. We've also got Dion Stubble, who's always had a steady season. Malachi Jones has had an exceptional season. Obviously, you get the younger players, guys like Dominic Sabur, who's a hell of a ball striker. Rodney Trott is a steady player. Kyle Hudson also, Zico Burgess, Mackay, who's a very, very big fighter. He fights to the end. So this balance of players, and then you add, overseas players like Del Rey. You add Onias Bascom as well, who's also quite a big on fighting on the field. You also add Okira Bascom as well, who has a big heart. So this team is quite a strong suit when it comes to belief and ability.
Jay?
Two-part tactics. You mentioned tactics. Two-part tactics question. So you mentioned about the wealth of players that have had a good season. Obviously, a lot of these players are used to betting at a certain number. Me and Earl, we sat back about a couple of weeks ago, trying to pick the top six. who will be the top six? Is somebody that's going to be betting far from what they used to betting? Managing that, do we have the buy-in from all the players that they might be betting number 1 or 2 or even 3 in their local team, but may have to bet number 10 or 11 for our national team? And also number 2, starting the games for a few years now, especially our local game, and watching the international. I'm pretty sure you've been watching the World Cup. One of the things that I know we've lacked, especially in the local game, especially for 2020, is getting singles. We either head for the heels, swing for the fences, or it's a dot ball. Has there been some concentration on we're going to have to pick up singles because we've seen once that player gets bogged down or a team gets bogged down, next thing you know, you're 5 for 20, So you make up.
To answer your first question about the batting order, I think majority of the players are adaptable. Obviously you have 1 or 2, out and out steady, number 3s, openers, etc. But everyone else is adaptable. A lot of guys can open the bat and can bat middle order. They can close an innings. They can do everything. So the batting order it's although it may seem challenging, but if you have the conversation with players and they know the rules from the very start of the tournament, you won't have any discrepancies. Everyone knows what's going on. They know where they're going to bat. Everyone understands how talented this team is, and if wherever they're going to be, it's going to be for the team. So, and that's pretty much what it is. Every attitude that every player has is for the team. That's the motto, for the team. And to answer your second question, as far as singles are concerned, when you're looking at the local game, it's a lot of how can I say, recreational players. This national team actually has more than recreational players. These guys are very intelligent cricketers. You know what I mean? So when it comes to dot hole percentage, I believe it wouldn't be as extreme in this side as it has been in previous years.
Mm. What do you know about the pitches you'll play on in Antigua?
I've been trying to get some insight from a few people. They're in the off season at the moment, so you know when you think about pitches in the off season, they tend to be quite a bit slow and take a bit of spin. So that would be my assessment, common sense wise. But also you can't really be too sure. Once I get answers from a few people that I've contacted, then maybe I'll have a better gauge on what's going on.
And how have you been preparing yourself for the challenge? Obviously, you will now play a major role, even more now because of the fact that you're the captain now.
Yeah, it's actually been quite an easy transition. We've been training pretty much 4 or 5 times a week since the beginning of September. And then I came back at the beginning of October, and training kicked up a bit more. So it's been easy just being able to observe everyone in the fielding drills, in the bowling drills, in the batting drills. So it's kind of an easy transition where I don't have to think as much about what I'm doing on the field. I'm quite a simple base captain. I have my plans. I make sure I have all the plans, and I know what each bowler likes to bowl to from their comfort zone. And then if need be to tweak it from there, if a batsman is doing something, then we could do that. But the main thing is to have your basic plans, and no matter how complicated the game gets, the basics will always be what you have to fall back on.
You noted something that in Jason's question, you talked about in the local game about a lot of recreational players. We noted in the local game where many extras in all the games were mounting up. Now, how do we plan to ensure that we keep those numbers down? And even if you look at the current World Cup that's going on, some of those extras are for teams are mounting up as pressure builds.
Well, see, the game of T20 is ever evolving, so you have to think about what type of extras are being bowled. Are they wides? Are they no balls? So when you're in pressure situations, a lot of coaches tell you to miss. If you're gonna bowl wide, miss it wide. Don't miss it close to the batsman. So that's probably why it looks like, it may appear that these players are under pressure and they're bowling wide. But a lot of coaches, like I know a coach that taught me how to bowl Yorkers. He said if you're gonna miss a Yorker, miss it further than what you were gonna bowl, not behind. Because if you miss your Yorker behind, you bowl a pretty much a half volley. You want to miss it further. So they take that same approach and put it to the wide. If you're going to bowl a wide Yorker, if you miss your wide Yorker, make sure it's wider than the line. Then you get another chance to do it again.
Okay.
You may or may not get you may not get a wicket on that extra ball. You never know. You could squeeze out another dot. So
sure. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have more with Bermuda captain Kamal Leverock. We'll be right back.
John Barrett & Son, Bermuda's leading distributor of fine beverages, have brought us something fresh and exciting this month. Mystic Juices, skillfully blended for captivating flavor and loaded with nutritional value. Mystic Juices not only taste remarkably good, one serving will supply an abundance of vitamins A and C, more than a certified measure needed to meet your daily requirements. This month we're featuring delicious and nutritious Mystic Juices in an enticing range of flavors in 64 and 16-ounce bottles. Lindos, why go anyplace else?
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. I'm still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
And welcome back. Kamal, looking at the challenge ahead, obviously we have the Canadas, the USAs, but where do you think this tournament can be won and or lost?
Tournament can be won or lost. I see. Like us, a lot of these teams haven't played cricket, a lot of cricket. You know, I think Canada had a very short domestic season. Yeah, USA have been playing some 50-over cricket, but the 50-over cricketers and the 2020 cricketers is a big gap between them. You know, it's maybe 6 or 7 different players in each squad. So where this is won and lost is probably, you know, who plays the better cricket on the day. You know, we've probably played a bit more cricket than some of these teams, and I reckon if we play to the best of our abilities, we can come out victorious in this tournament.
Yeah, I posted the USA squad last week, and like we used to be, they're aging. They've recalled a few players, you know, that are up in age. So have you had a look at some of those other teams and who they've selected?
Yeah, I've tried to look out for some of those teams. You know, you get some of the same faces in the USA and Canada team. So, you know, dealing with that might be a bit on the easier side. You know, I've been playing against these guys since I was, you know, 14, 15 years old. You know, they kind of have the same game, a bit more mature, but most of them have the same game. You know what they like, you know what they don't like. So, you know, I obviously wouldn't know much about the rest of the teams, but you know, the USA and Canada, I would know quite a bit about. So I'm not too fussed about, you know, looking out for those teams as much.
Sure, Jay.
Can you speak on having Gowrie in the squad and also Gus Logie, you know, joining you guys with that wealth of knowledge, and who led our team back in 2007, I believe, with the World Cup? What those two individuals bring to not only the game, but also for you as a captain?
Well, they mainly bring a wealth of knowledge. You know, like me, Delray's played in quite a few different countries and quite a few different setups. He's played with a lot of, you know, great coaches and under a lot of great coaches and with a lot of great players. So with everything that he could learn and try to give toward the team and relay the information that he has, it's great to have. And also with Gus Logie, it's pretty much the same thing. You know, he's coached the best, he's played with the best. You know, he's been around cricket for, you know, too many years, if you ask me. You know, he's getting the boys into a lot of shape right now. You know, everyone is having flashbacks. I know Malachi and Kyle Hudson and, you know, Picnic have been having some flashbacks with the training sessions that he's been doing. So it's great to have him around and having his you know, expertise.
Definitely. And you look at some of the players that you will kind of rely on. Do you and the coach plan to do like one-on-one conversations with players just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, or do you guys do like big team meetings, to kind of share information?
Yeah, we do both actually. We do planning meetings with the whole team, so everyone knows as a unit what we're doing, and we also do one-on-ones to outline what roles are, so there's no discrepancies. And there's if you come and we tell you you're batting 7, you're not angry that you're batting 7 because you already knew that that's a possibility from the meeting we've had before the tournament. So it keeps the team camaraderie a little bit better when you relay the information before the tournament rather than during the tournament.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of advice have you been getting from the people you rely on in your circle as far as being as confident as you can be leading this team?
Yeah, basically they just told me to make sure I lead from the front. You can't ask anything of your team that you can't do, so make sure you are trying to be the best in everything that is done in training, everything that's done off the field. You try to set an example, because they tell me I've been around and been a student of the game for quite a long time, even though I'm still a bit young, and just to make sure that the players see what I'm trying to do, and they will hopefully hop on board.
And one more question. Describe what type of coach Herbie Bascom is.
Wow. I say this to people all the time. Herbie Bascom is an elite motivator. He can make you believe that you can do anything on a cricket field. As long as he has your back, you feel like, I could bowl out Chris Gale for a duck, or I could hit, Shaheen Afridi for 6 sixes. He can make you believe that, and that's his coaching style. That's pretty much how we got through in 2019. He made everyone believe. He made the teams believe. He made each individual believe that they can do whatever they can to make the team succeed.
Jay?
All right, so come on, new captain. Let me see if you know your players. 3 quick questions. See if you know your players. Number 1, who's the best dancer?
Who is the best dancer?
I was going to say him.
There's not
many.
many.
You seen the latest videos?
No.
you know that's why I asked this one, right?
Who is the best dancer?
I'm just going to see if you can be truthful with me, that's all.
To be honest, if you look at the team, there aren't many dancers. So I would be inclined to say me, yeah, probably.
Number 2, who's the quickest in a 50-yard dash?
That would be Allen.
And number 3, who has to get the most sleep every night?
I would say the most sleep would probably have to be Kyle.
I was thinking the same thing.
I
Kyle would be considered
Kyle,
the
yeah. I think Kyle would probably need the most sleep.
Well, Kamal, I want to thank you very much and wish you all the best. You and the team will be watching from here, and hopefully you guys can be successful and go on to represent the country at the next stages. But first, we have to deal with this stage. It's not going to be easy. One thing you would know is that you have support, and trust me, anytime you need to lean on that support, it's here for you. All right?
Yes, of course.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. We're gonna take our final commercial break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up this edition of the Island Stat Sports Show. We'll be right back. Thanks, Kamal.
Cheers.
The use of butter goes back millennia, and its exalted status in the cooking world and in so many kitchens is undeniable. Around 3,000 years ago, ghee, or clarified butter, was developed in India and is the cooking oil of choice in many regions of the subcontinent, and compared to butter has a higher smoke point, reduced dairy solids, and a more robust, nuanced flavor. And to Organic Valley, creators of a certified organic version of this versatile traditional staple. This month we're featuring Organic Valley Ghee Clarified Butter. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. I'm still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
And welcome back. Jay, earlier today, the Minister of Sport, Dr. Ernest Peets, held a press conference to talk about return to sport and the play, and announced that as of Saturday, it'll be the 4B, which includes full play and spectators. One of the concerns would be today is Wednesday. Those who have not or are not vaccinated will need a safe key, and time has kind of run out if they want to attend any event over the football or cricket or whatever event it is, and any sporting event. There's a lot of talk only about football, but there are plenty of other sports that go on. And during the press conference, I asked them about the time limit of sports putting in for the exemption, because right now it is at 20. It actually moved to 30 at the weekend, but that's still not enough to host a hockey match, a 15-a-side rugby match, a football match. But there are avenues in which you can get the exemption for the season, but this takes some 7 days to do all the paperwork. So basically, this weekend for anyone who hasn't filled out all those papers, it's kind of out the door. But one of the pressures would be the fact that we start hosting an international event tomorrow, and there was a lot of talk about the fact that we're going to be able to host another international event, and our fans for local sports and our local sports are restricted. So I think there was a little bit of pressure here and there. The fact that I noted Hamilton Princess was given permission for the Harborview Ballroom to have 500 people indoors, and we couldn't have 250 people at a sporting event. Something's kind of fishy there.
Yeah, it's not fishy. It's plain as day, if you ask me.
Well,
there's nothing fishy with this, LB.
They're using a 50 bar test.
We keep having this conversation. It's just plain and simple.
Yeah. Well, but
so when I say that, I'm not only talking about in a dollar value, but also commitment, right? So when all these international, and we've heard that they've been driven by the BTA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's on the perception or the conception that it's money, bringing money in, this, that, and the other, right? And that's where this funding comes up and gets paid for these international events to happen. So even in doing that, whether it be a year out, whether it be 7, 8, 9 months out, because we know these exemptions, right, were given the commitment to the organizers months ago. When we was probably in a worse state locally.
Right.
Community status. Whereas our local sports we're always hanging on what the actual community status is before we even have the conversation what the exemption will even be.
Right.
That's the problem that I think that we keep falling into, because it always seems that we're always relying on the community status for our local stuff, for the commitment of these exemptions. But for the internationals, I'm pretty sure for next year's whatever sport, international sport, they're probably done in the next month or two and beginning to. And that's where I think we fall down, because you just mentioned it. Me personally, and I'm speaking for myself, me personally, I just believe that the health department doesn't want people to get together at all, period, across the island, rather sport, rather anything, period. And I think they're almost holding the country at hostage in that sense, because they're putting everybody into one basket. So when you say indoors allowing a maximum of 500 people, which is gazetted, we still haven't seen what the gazetted number for the venues for the games this week. You know, so you start, and that outdoors. So then that leads us to start rolling down. Okay, so why is this or why is that? Could it be? Are we talking about? Is there problems? And we spoke about it on field. We're talking about fields that are probably 3, 4, 5 times the size as the ballroom. That people can't spread out. You can put people in areas or send people. I remember when the Yankee Stadium first opened up, certain fans had to go to certain areas, certain fans went to another area, and you put fans in different areas. Or are we more concerned about around the bathrooms and the players? So it's the thing is, Earl, when you don't get the information, when the information is not forthcoming, it leads to so much speculation.
Yeah.
So much speculation.
Yeah. One of the things I do mention earlier is that you talked about the funding, money, but we keep cutting ourselves short, because we make money go around our sporting events and anything we host as well, because you have vendors, you have different things that go on at these sporting events that actually Bermudians put money in, get money out of, all of that. So it might not be to the quote unquote volume of a 4-day event or a 3-day event, but over the course of the year, I guarantee you it's more money than is generated in these international events, only because Bermudians put in, Bermudians take out. But the money is generated and circulated amongst ourselves. I mean, I think we have to stop cutting ourselves short, by saying, oh, well, that's going to make us money. Well, local football, local sports, local cricket, local hockey. These people buy equipment in Bermuda. They shop at the stores in Bermuda. Then you have, like we say, the vendors. They sell things at the games. Then you have, all sorts of things that actually money is generated around local sports, that we need to make sure that we are doing that to keep ourselves going, kind of thing.
I agree with you 200%. What really stood out to me, because we've heard the minister make these speeches, very passionate speeches of how sport means so much to him and also to the government. I don't question his beliefs, obviously, because he has the right to his opinion. But when it comes to, so take for instance the guest we had on today, okay? Ashley Yearwood, okay? She was competing at what age?
Where you want to start? 9, 10?
And now she's one of the leaders of this delegation, Come on, level up. At what age?
Yeah, 9, 10.
And now leading a country. The opportunities they was afforded, and what's done. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Kamal Leverett is a young black man who could have went down a different path. But sport has kept him out of that. Because of opportunities that has been given through sport. That's success. And that's more valuable than any money that you can talk about. Right? What Ashley is doing, that means more than any CEO is giving a donation to a club. Giving back to these young ones. And she feels compelled to do it. Not like somebody's making her do it.
Right.
Same with Kamal.
Right.
So, unfortunately, the powers that be, they don't see it the same way.
No. And
so
we
for
can
fans, I hate to say this here, for fans, I think, and for me, it's like, okay, we've known this situation was going to come back around. Okay, football's last played last December?
December 5th.
Okay, so we know we're gonna have football again in life. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Once again, golf and everything was playing 9 months out. For the commitment, what will have to take place? What will there be concessions? Why we're always waiting for our community status, for our local stuff, so even if you tell me straight up 2 months ago, we're gonna start football in November, but there's gonna be no fans until January.
You can live with that because you know what you can plan that.
You can plan that. You can plan that, right? Because let's go back to a club, right? Let's go back to a club, Earl. No, clubs have been suffering. So one of the things that clubs would love to make money off of is merchandise. How do you know that? You said vendors. How can they be committed when they don't even know what's going on? You know? Because if a vendor is doing that at a home game, they're only going to have X amount of home games a season, yes? Now, with no fans, X off a couple of more games.
Right. Right.
So that once again, so now, does it make sense?
Economically, no. No.
So these are some hard questions, and I'm hoping these clubs get as much information as possible within the next 24 to 48 hours, so they can get it out to their not only players but also their families, because a lot of the fans is family.
Yeah, but you know what's going to be the problem if the clubs are not fully prepared to host fans this weekend because they've been preparing just for players, and they find out today that they can have fans. If they decide to not have fans over the weekend, it's going to be an outcry, and it's going to be the BFA didn't do this, the BFA didn't do that, the BFA didn't do the other. The problem is that they've been preparing for 4A as they were instructed. 4A has been no fans. So all the clubs and the association have been targeting this weekend. They just need to get the players in, get the games started, get football going. And I'm only talking about football now because that's what we're referring to. But other sports are probably thinking the same thing. If we haven't prepared ourselves to host fans, then we're only talking about having the players come in, the officials come in, do it, get it over and done with, and then we have another week to worry about how we can implement the spectator issues, because it takes personnel.
Okay, so that's plan A, right? That's plan A. Plan B would have been every game would be under safekeeping, which we've heard.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? And we can now get our dates in months ahead of time. So if plan A doesn't work, Here's Plan B.
Yeah, well, I mean, I asked the minister about season long. So basically, an organization now can put in for a season long exemption.
But my point is that should have been put in together.
Well, let's put it like this: if it was offered, maybe they would have, or we don't know.
No, I'm just, because once again, now you have the same people going back over the same paperwork.
Yeah. Well, they do have and he did say that they have a form that an organization can fill out for season long, an extended exemption. I guess it'll be similar to kind of what Hammer the Princess got for the year for their ballrooms.
And just keep does it come under the same pretenses that it doesn't matter what the community status is in?
They've got exemptions. They will be looked at different, Jay. Trust me. They'll be looked at differently. Yeah, because remember, what was it said the last time? Once you had your exemption, you were okay as long as the dates were approved. Right?
No, we saw that in the last couple of months. A lot of things got revoked now, didn't they?
Well, yes. That was after remember, that was the second time we went on kind of a quote-unquote lockdown. Because the first time...
I don't know, man. You know what? As everybody will say, it's a fluid situation. I mean, I would like to be in anybody's shoes right now because I don't think there's no really right answer.
But if you're answering the questions openly, then and you're given comfort in when you're answering questions. For right now, you're getting questions asked, but very little answers are being given. So the problem comes is if you don't know it, don't go in front of the camera.
The problem is, Earl, and I'll say it again, the powers that be are in conflict with the other, straight up.
Sure.
And that's the problem. It ain't no other problem. That's the problem. You're problem from day one. You're problem from day two. Go to day two. Okay, that's the problem. As much as somebody, the cheerleaders are waving the pom poms and I want my sport on, still comes down to one department or one voice. Whatever comes out of that ministry or that department, that's what it is. Take it or leave.
Yeah.
Hold on. That's my opinion. I understand. That's my opinion. I don't want to get in trouble with it.
Listen,
trying to cancel somebody nowadays.
I can't get in any more trouble than I'm already in, mate. Trust me.
Cancel me. I'm already canceled, Orban. Come on.
But the thing is, you keep having to ask the questions. You hope to get answers, and you hope that some steps are moving forward with the questions being asked and getting what little answers you're getting. So hopefully, it helps.
Can I get you re-ask a question that you asked many months ago?
Which one?
Whenever the next press conference or talk with the minister.
Probably the end of November.
6 months to 8 months ago, the government was pushing for people to get vaccinated to reach herd immunity of 70%. I think as late as today, I think we're at 68.1.
You want the question asked, what do we do when we reach herd immunity?
Because all of that has gone quiet.
Oh, yeah. Because we never got the answer of what we were doing.
You told me this is our finish line, so to speak, or this is our guideline, so to speak. We've never heard what actually is going to happen. Yeah,
that question has never ever been answered. I've asked it 3 times. No one's answered it. I've asked it 3 times. So maybe we need to revisit that. Yeah.
I mean, if one of our listeners, one of our viewers know, please let me know because I'm still trying. What happens at 70%?
everything stops. Well, Jay,
what will be allowed to do? What we will not be allowed to do?
nothing. Keep doing what you're doing. Because now the needle will move to, but we need 75% now. The numbers show we need 75 now.
We heard that in other countries. We haven't heard that here.
Yeah, I know. But we haven't reached the 70 yet.
So my bet will be, if I was a betting man, that number's going to change when we get to 7.
Well, you know what's funny, Jay? If they change the age limit again, you know that number goes down, right?
Yeah.
Because more people become available to get vaccinated, and then that number, that percentage number, actually comes lower because until all those other people get vaccinated, you could possibly go down to a 65%.
Because they were excluded in the original.
Excluded in the initial, yeah. So if you add, hypothetically, you add 3,000 people to that list, right? Mm-hmm. Your percentage number now goes down because you've added more people to the top of the list.
Look, man, shut up, man. I'm trying to get the 7. I'm trying to get backwards.
What? That's why the goalposts keep moving.
I'm saying I'm trying to get to 7 because I'm anticipating something gonna happen.
What, you want fireworks?
I've been canceled. So we're gonna fireworks in 2 years. Maybe the fireworks. I can tell you that.
Oh boy! All right. Well, look, let's get out of here. We'll be back next week.
Before we go, once again, I just want to say good luck to Brian Morris as he tees off this week for his first ever PGA. I can't wait to see what you do, good buddy. All the best to you. And also, 4 other golfers, good luck. I need anybody. Somebody make the cut. Please make the cut.
Well,
I might see if I can get my exemption. Come out of the course.
Yeah. Brian tees off tomorrow at 2:05 alongside Michael Sims. Damian Paliandi is at 9:03 in the morning. Kamiko is at 9:14, and Chaka De Silva is at 1:43 in the afternoon. That's tomorrow's tee-off times. And then on Friday, Chaka's at 9:03. Brian and Michael Sims are at 9:25. Damien is at 1:43, and Kamiko is at 1:54. So again, as you said, good luck to the boys. We'll be rooting for you. Hey, do yourself proud. And the country will follow. So with that, we say good night.
Good night.
We'll be back next week.